Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. I love entrepreneurs and authors and creative disruptors and retired military officers and people from every walk of life that have discovered their reason for being on this planet. And that's why I love Dr. Mickra Hamilton. She's all of those things and the CEO and co-founder of Apeiron Zoe Corporation, a precision performance ecosystem that curates limitless expression. Hey, Mickra, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Oh, my pleasure, Matt. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here.
Awesome. So just tell us what you're doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world.
What a perfect way to start this. You know, I often say, let's dream big and know that we can reach those dreams. For me, I know this is so interesting to say, but I know that we are so much more than we currently experience ourselves as. Mm-hmm. And that knowing has allowed me to truly devote my life to what I call precision evolution or purposeful evolution. You know, who are we when we know ourselves in our truth, you know, at the essence of the core of who we are? And then how does that knowing change the very face of existence on this planet? How we are with each other, how we are with ourselves, the contributions that we make. So.
Awesome. And I agree like 1,000%. So take us back in time so we can get to know you a little bit, 30 years or so, let's say. And I want to know, what was the catalyst for your decision to join the United States Air Force? And then tell us all just a few of the highlights of your 30 years in service.
Oh my goodness. So I originally, Matt, had the be all you can be. I was going Army, and I was led to that service because the honorable warrior ethos made sense to me. It made sense to give up your life for what you believed in, you know, to be so all in your commitment to yourself and your fellow humans that you would do anything, right, for that purpose. And so the military, I looked around and I said, is it Peace Corps, right? Is it humanitarian service? And really it was the protect and serve kind of concept of that warrior ethos that drew me to it. It was the safety of the culture. It was the camaraderie where, you know, we all had each other's backs. We were all in for adventure. And the very fun nature of that kept us from taking ourselves too seriously, because, you know, we knew that there may come a time where we had to be very serious, but until then, we certainly were going to have fun, right, doing it. So that's what drew me to the military. And I know you had a follow-on question to that I can't recall.
Just some of the highlights, but let's go ahead. Let's move along and go the other direction, because I know you are a longevity expert. And so let's look forward like 30 or 40 years. How do you see yourself living? What will you be doing? And how do you hope to be impacting the world in 2050 and beyond?
So I'm going to go beyond hope and tell you how I'm going to impact the world at that time and beyond. Right. And, you know, what I see for myself and for those I love and for all humans on this planet is I see a very different expression. And I'm not referring to utopia, right? I'm referring to the time when we are more of a complete human system, a whole human system that really merges this knowing of profound love in the heart with an intelligence, an intellect, an intuition that partners with this, pure knowing of self. And that type of human expression creates a very different human earth environment. And so what I see that as being personally is imagine living structures, right? Where the building that we live in, that we collaborate with for this experience is actually living, right? Where the molecules of the structures are living, where there isn't fake, it's not, the pressed board stuff that we put in our homes now that grow mold and the different things that disempower us as humans who can live a very long and healthy expression. And, imagine different use of frequency and of healing, where we no longer have what do we call bullets and band-aids and stainless steel, where we're archaically taking a pill for something that isn't even the issue, or we're not cutting things open, where replacement things are very different, right, than they are now. Imagine living in a collaborative way where people who are choosing to create together actually feel as if they're a family unit, as part of a team that came to this life experience to do something on purpose, with purpose, and that might be to ensure that everyone on this planet has incredible health care, that we all have food, and that no one goes cast aside or set apart because they don't meet the requirements that society has developed for them, right? A self-renewing human system, a self-renewing planet, because we are both already, right? We can self-renew and we can self-heal as long as we're interrelated with the planet. And so I see a very different future than the one I'm beautifully living now, this current now.
Very, very exciting. So, Mickra, as I define significance, it's doing things you love, in places you love, with people you love, and creating something of value to others. So it's doing and it's giving. But to be a giver, you need excess capacity in your life. So the question is, what are your personal practices, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? What do you do to increase your capacity so you can take good care of yourself and still have more to give to others?
The simple way to answer that is by stating that I tap into my limitless nature. And that's, people say, well, what does that even mean? But everything that we are is within us. Everything, this macro to micro, as above, so below, as within, so without. We are what we're looking for out there. And so I go inside. I go into the core of my essence, and everything is, you could say, modulated from that space. And so what does that look like practically, right? You might say stillness, presence, awareness, being in this now moment. Some might say they call it meditation. I walk my meditation. I live my meditation. So it's not like it used to be for me. I used to sit on a cushion and I would move into that space by sitting. The ability that we have to enter that space at any moment is extraordinary. And so I cultivate that presence through you would say a combination of perceiving through my heart first and foremost, feeling, sensing, knowing through my heart, and then allowing the intellect to come to, we would kind of say, up behind it, right? And the intellect then gets to take action and do the doing of what the heart is sensing and feeling to create and to explore. And in that way, there's no thinking, right? So it's not, let me think about this process. It's an automatic process that simply happens. It's like when you're driving your car and you get to where you're going and you don't even know that you got there, right? It's that automatic. It's just an oscillation, I think, between what we call being and doing. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
It's developed over time.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about aligning that capacity with purpose, which you kind of just alluded to. But let's first take a commercial break. And I want to tell everybody about three things: a super amazing health device called Zona Plus, how they can get a $50 discount at Happy Living, and how their purchase will support a great big donation to WITV7 and another nonprofit that I love called Life Vest Inside. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Zona Plus, the world's first software-controlled handheld device that improves cardiovascular health using isometric exercise. You're going to love yours too. I use mine almost every day to keep my blood pressure right where it should be. It also helps maintain healthy blood and oxygen flow and bone density. And it increases the production of nitric oxide, which also increases blood flow and lowers blood pressure. All good stuff. But what really surprised me is this little device has been adding muscle to my biceps too. I walk around all day long feeling pumped. Check them out at happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy for $50 off. Plus, for every order placed in the month of January, I'll donate $50 to WITV7 and another $50 to Life Vest Inside. Okay, we're back, and this is Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey, friends, do yourself a big health favor and buy a Zona Plus right after the show. It'll take just a minute and improve your health for a lifetime. I love mine and use it every day. I know you'll love yours too. I also love talking with my epigenetic rock star guest, Dr. Mickra Hamilton. Her and her company Apiron Zoe, are at the leading edge of rapidly expanding human evolution and many game-changing new paradigms. Oh, and Mickra and I are also both co-authors of a newly published #1 bestseller called Codes of Longevity. It's all about unlocking your potential to look, feel, and live life optimized to 120 years and beyond. Check it out at happyliving.com. So, Mickra, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I explore the idea that big transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation. Terrible illness, a sudden death, some big crisis shakes your life. But I've used a happier way to create transformations in my life with inspiration. So was there a specific moment or situation when either devastation or inspiration revealed to you the purpose, your purpose for living on this planet?
Wow. Yeah. So how interesting. So devastation doesn't make sense to me, right? I'm a post-traumatic growth person. I'm an anti-fragile person. I am always stronger through every experience that I have. And I don't judge those experiences as being good or bad, better or less preferred. And so,
just all collectively experiences.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I always knew that I was more than what I currently understood. There was something within me that knew its limitless nature. And so I often describe myself as the little Wonder Woman girl who, or Superwoman girl with the cape, who knows that the future is bright and is limitless. And so that that knowing allowed me to go into my imaginal mind, into my creative mind, and to construct, you could say, worlds, right? So no matter what was happening in my experience, I could go into what I call a world of worlds, and I could create anything I chose to create. And, some people would say, well, that's like being Peter Pan and imaginal thinking. And what good is that? And I would say it is what drives us, what inspires us, what allows us to create and innovate. The magical thinking that we once had as children and we've lost as we've aged, right? As we've chronologically spent time here. And so, what brought that back to me, because I did, right? You go into the military and you move into a very focused culture where your purpose is to be ready and to contribute in whatever way, right, you are contributing. And so I found myself in a very small box of my expertise, which was human performance. And I realized that somewhere along the way, I lost that magical thinker, creator that I was. It happened really at 40. I'd had my children and my hormones declined. And with the loss of the hormones, the loss of my joy. And I knew being in service that if without the joy, I couldn't serve. And so I set myself on a course to restore the joy. And as I found ways to do that, and as it built back, and my soul sang, right, with joy, that depletion allowed me to spring into new service, if you would.
Was there a moment or a situation that when all of a sudden you recognized that the joy was gone and something was wrong and I need to change my life, and off you went in a different way or in a renewed way?
Yes.
Was there something?
There was, and I suspect that we create these on purpose, right, to awaken ourselves into our next new stage. I had a health decline that by 40 required a surgery that put me 6 weeks on my back, and I was the doer. I did everything for everyone. And I had to go into receivership and into stillness. And I couldn't even leave my room other than to go to the washroom. And so I found myself face to face with me, and I didn't know who me was. I had no idea who I was at that stage. And so it was like Pandora's box, right? The lid blew off and I said, oh, this is not who I am. Yeah. And so I was compelled to find myself, and I did. And it came at the time, very high prices, lots to pay for that finding of self. And also the knowing that on the other side of my truth was a life that I had no idea could be so incredible. So that's what drove me, right, to keep going, even when it didn't feel available to me. And I was right. And every moment is exquisite because of it. So.
Awesome. And it's fascinating that you described yourself as a little girl in the imagination land, and everything was possible. And then you go in the military and you're in a box and you do exactly what's in the box. And that's a unique life pattern that got you to what you're doing today, which I find fascinating. Good stuff. Okay, so we've talked about capacity and purpose. When you combine those two, the sky's the limit, or as I like to say, capacity plus purpose equals happy. I call it the happy formula, as you know. But I know the real magic of life comes from the fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others. Or as you've said, using different words, to live life on purpose, with a purpose, in service to self and service to others. Yeah. So, Mickra, tell us, how has doing work that creates value for others brought joy and magic into your life? In other words, How does it feel when you help others believe as you do that they are limitless? How do you feel when they create a new state of human thriving they didn't believe possible? How does that make you feel?
In awe, and also in extreme reverence, right? To be able to contribute in a way that people see themselves differently, know themselves differently, recognize how much they matter and how much they're loved, right? And so I don't do anything for them, right? I partner with them. I sit alongside them. I hold them in my remarkable love, because that is a limitless state. And in that, I call it a crucible, right? It's a crucible of growth. In that place, they find themselves. They find the truth of who they are. They take whatever action is required to align with that truth. Some people say true north. I see it as much, much deeper than that. But to be part of that is the biggest gift I think that anyone can ever be given, because you watch the majesty of creation in form. And I truly, I'm so often, I laugh, I use the kind of expression brought to my knees by just the magnificence of all of it. And so, I don't know, I'm just grateful. I'm simply grateful.
The power of the human spirit is so immense. It's hard really for us to imagine. And I know if you're listening to this and you're not out on the leading edge like Mickra, it sounds kind of crazy. But believe me, dive in a little bit and start to learn about it, because when you really find yourself and who you are and you turn on the powers inside, the sky is the limit. And it's really good stuff, Mickra. Mm-hmm. So now let's wrap things up with the lightning round. And I'd love to read one of my favorite quotes and then have you respond to us telling what it means to you, so we can kind of peer into your mind a little bit.
Okay.
And this one's from a comedian, Aries Spears. I think you'll like it. To sustain longevity, you have to evolve.
Oh, yes. So nothing escapes change. Change is constant. Evolution is constant. And we've been telling ourselves that we haven't evolved in how long as humans? It isn't true. We're evolving every nanosecond. And so, yes, that's brilliant.
From Heraclitus, I have to work on my pronunciation. This is using the word man for people, but forgive that. No man ever steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man.
And, I tie that to epigenetics, right? Every single thing in our environment is constantly being sampled. Everything is changing. And even though the molecules that were breathed by Plato and some of the great philosophers are here and we're breathing those molecules, they're different. We're different. Constantly evolving, constantly moving, changing, as I said. And thank heavens, right, that we are never stagnant and sitting still.
Give me 30 seconds for people who don't know what the term epigenetics means, the brief definition.
Sure. So epigenetics is, I like to say, it's really, from a scientific perspective, it's above the genes. So that which, how the environment affects the actual hardwiring of our genetic code. So how nature and nurture interact, and how everything is informed by everything we do, everything we believe, every action we take, everything we eat, we drink, we think. Everything informs our life and our lifestyle and how we experience life.
Yeah, it's a very, very exciting, growing field, and I'm excited to keep learning more. Okay, here's one of my own from one of my books. The more you say no to what you don't want, the more time, energy, and resources you'll have to dedicate to the things that matter most.
Okay, so I don't say no to anything. And people will laugh at that. They go, of course you do, you must. No, actually I don't. I say yes to everything. I may decide not to participate in some things, but there is no for me. It's like water. Water finds a way, right? It's never stopped. And so no's actually kind of stop us in time, as you said, to have the experience of what we don't want to have. So I just don't see no's.
Even a no is a yes. All right. Last one, and my very favorite, life-changing one from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Absolutely. And, we must trust ourselves and the impetus of creation within us. When we have something come in that brings us to passion, that brings us to action, right? By taking that action, that creation can come into form and it can change the world. And so if there's anything joyful, anything passionate that lights us up, we have to say yes to it and immediately take action.
100%. When you feel it, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mickra, it's been really great talking with you and learning about the great things you're doing, but now our time's nearing an end. So kindly just take a minute or two and share any parting remarks that you'd like to leave with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'd really like to share that we are limitless. Our limitations are created simply by our perceptions and the beliefs that we have chosen to take on. Indoctrination, right? So know that you are limitless. Choose to discover your limitless nature and really create the life of your dreams because it's available to you.
That's awesome. Okay, now folks, it's on you. If you can hear my voice and you are inspired by today's show with Dr. Mickra Hamilton, please donate what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Mickra, I'm so inspired by you and your work. I believe the impact that Aprian Zoe will have on the world by helping people increase their lifespan, number of years on the planet, their health span, number of years in vibrant health, and my favorite, their well span, number of years living in purpose. That's going to create a ginormous collateral benefits as an older, wiser, healthier, and growing population of inspired people move us forward, solving big problems and making the world a healthier, happier, more beautiful place to live. So thank you and your awesome team for your good works.
My pleasure. Thank you, Matt.
And thank you, WITV7, for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep reaching ordinary people ready to create extraordinary lives. Special thank you to our sponsors for the month of January, Zona Plus and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate $50 to WITV7 and another $50 to Life Vest Inside for every order placed during the entire month. So tell your friends to buy a Zona Plus too. It's good for their health. And for this month, it's also the charitable thing to do. Most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Mickra Hamilton. Find her, friend her, check out her online self-paced human performance coach training program, and buy our Codes of Longevity book to read her chapter on the epigenetics of breathing to inform youthful longevity. It's a good chapter. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and want you to be happy. All we do on the Something Significant show is to inspire you to live your life to its fullest, to believe as I do that a better self is always possible, today and every day for the rest of our lives. It's time for you to be bold. If you're dreaming about it, then get on with it, for it's there on your special path, the one to your dream, your unique and distinctive journey. That's where you'll discover the way to make your mark of significance on the world. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show.